What's the last book you read and who was it by?
The last book I read was The Philippine War, 1899 to 1902 by Dr. Brian Lynn.
Can you tell us what the book is about roughly?
The book is about the Philippine War from 1899 to 1902, but basically what he's arguing in the book is that the U.S. Army went from a conventional warfare into an unconventional warfare.
What made you pick up the book and start reading it?
I'm a PhD student and it was assigned to me, so I had no choice but to read it.
Who would you recommend this book to?
I would recommend it to anybody who's interested in military history.
The title is The Adventures of a Cat, and I don't remember the name of the author, but I think it's written by an author, a Japanese author.
What made you pick up the book and start reading
A
it?
good friend of mine recommended me to read the book, and yes, now I have his book and I'm reading it.
What's one thing that stood out to you in the book so far?
I like the plot, and I like how the author is able to talk about some social issues and topics through the eyes of a cat.
And who would you recommend this book to?
People who love cats and people who want to learn more about human relationships.
The last book I read was Holes. It was a pretty known book, I guess. I don't remember the author. It was a pretty good book.
What made you start reading the book?
I've never read it, but I've heard like pretty good reviews on it. I was curious about it, so I just picked it up and read it.
Can you tell us what the book is about?
It's about this boy named Stanley Yaunetz, something like that, yeah. And there's this curse on his family that he's trying to, well, he does know about, but like he kind of breaks the curse in some case. I think that's pretty much it.
Who would you recommend the book to?
Anyone that's looking to read something for fun and like expand their reading ability in some way.
I don't remember who it was by, but it's not very eventful. It was a textbook for class about social media platforms.
What made you read that book?
Class, so I can pass.
And did you end up passing?
I'm in the class right now, so fingers crossed, we'll see.
Can you tell us what it's about roughly?
So it's all about the evolution of social media and products that we use with social media. So it was talking about our evolution in this is probably so boring, I'm so sorry. In like technology and going from early phones to moving to the cell phones we have today.
What's one thing about the book that stood out to you?
Just how far we've come in such a short time.
Who would you recommend the book to?
Students at A&M.
All right, thank you. You have a good one.
I read a comic on something called Webtoons called Unordinary, but I don't know who it's from.
Can you tell us what the manga is roughly about?
It's about this guy who goes into school with people full of powers, and he's essentially powerless, and he has to fight his way through the school.
What's something that stood out from the book to you, or the manga?
I mean, I always like the underdog stories, and seeing him like climb his way up is such an interesting take.
Who would you recommend this book or this manga to?
Literally, everyone should read it. It's really good.
Okay.
I think it's really good.
All right.